drive.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Deep fried pixels.
Great, good stuff. I think people are getting really cranked.
Hey. It's the twins. It's the twins. Look at them.
We're just partying, man. Oh,
Just partying. Oh, we've already had a party foul. Here, 13 seconds into our latest episode of Deep Fried Pixels podcast here on your Friday night drive time radio.
I didn't even do nothing crazy.
That's right. I'm just sucking it up.
That was Night Train you just listened to.
Yes, that's Night Train by Night Ranger coming live from Cincinnati's #1 rock station.
Brought to you by Frank Thomas's Lunchbox and Wicker Basket Emporium.
Frank Thomas, he was the #1 White Sox hitter of all time. And he was also selling whisker baskets at his emporium.
That's right. Yeah, he was the best at that.
It was that the wasn't he like the Big Hurt or something? The big something? Didn't they call him that? Something. He had a nickname.
It was a Big Hurt.
The Big Hurt. Not even a baseball fan. I don't even know how to do that. How I knew that.
The Big Hurt.
Or maybe it's the. Isn't he on the those low T commercials now? Maybe that's what.
Yeah, he sells those like shitty supplements that's supposed to raise your.
Yeah, him and Doug Flutie.
Yeah.
Out throwing the football around in the front yard, and the neighbor's got like his hose that somehow is not even, it's like too floppy to even work as a hose. Wondering why his water won't come out. Have you seen that one? It's
No.
some clever marketing. I think it's the same team that sent the general to stardom.
The Dollar General.
No, the general insurance, the little general guy that rides around the Corvette.
It's the Dollar
With Shaq, I
General.
think he's with Shaq now. isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the Dollar General.
Is
No,
it-
that's the.
I don't think that's the Dollar General.
Is
I
it
think that's the
No,
general
it's
insurance.
the insurance. You're right.
Yeah.
It's I just called him the Dollar General because it looks like, well, I don't want to say anything mean, but the commercial initially looked like they spent $1 on.
Yeah, I remember the first.
Yeah, what is it? You want low rates online?
Oh, low
You gotta
rates.
call the general and save some time. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. What? That's you're singing the songs of our time, of our generation.
Yeah.
It's not really the time of our generation. It's like last generation or the new generation, right? This will be the songs they sing. This will be their "Where's the beef?"
Hey,
Oh God, I weep for them.
remember the Flonase too? The B.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio
Oh,
Banderas
man.
sounding dude. That was so bad too. They had to redo all that CG for that.
Hey, I'll tell you what. The little guy, the little booger that goes underneath your toes for the toenails. That guy wasn't too bad.
Yeah, the Mucinex ones had some good. There's some good CG,
Yeah, the
which
Mucinex was
for
good.
what I imagine was just a complete hell ride through a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
You know. My
Yeah, some of those, some of those pitches of like, so what is this booger supposed to look like exactly? Do we have a?
Just some
Conceptual-
conceptual executive. He's like, listen, I figured it out. It's like you see, remember the movie Flubber? So we want this guy here. I want him to be like me. Like I want him to have this New York accent.
I think it was more like, have you ever seen the Family Guy where Brian got into, or Stewie got prescribed Adderall or whatever, and it like mellowed him out, but like Brian took it and like, it obviously made him like, he's like, and the words are just flowing out of me.
Yeah.
Like the next morning he wakes up and he's like, I built a whole city. And like,
Yeah, that's exactly how it is too. Wow.
and
It's like,
marketing and characters and everything.
what do you mean I can get this legally from a doctor? This is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy. They get you crunk.
it really does. It's
Terrible.
it's great stuff.
It's pretty amazing how our mental health industry is consists of a lot of people just going to like their general practitioner and saying, "Hey, I'm kind of not feeling so good." And they were like, "Try some Xanax,
Yeah.
and come see me in 3 months."
Put that at a higher, lower ILR.
Are you guys playing Minesweeper again?
We are.
Put it like 1-1. There you go.
Thanks.
I know my shit. Sorry, he was dealing with a class material. I know he was trying to do it. It's like get that IOR around 1. Yeah,
Yeah, you get stuff handed over from other people, and sometimes just like
We're doing live visual effects. Listen, look at this vein somewhere right here. I don't know what part of my camera's at, but it's sticking out because that's my VFX.
Wow, you got the brain trust on it.
you're never gonna believe. You're never gonna believe
you
it.
don't want me and Zach doing CG together.
You really don't. It's all. It's only a matter when you do. It's only a matter of time before one of us stands up and yells, "Hey, I'm on my fucking period." Everybody
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah.
Which one of you is the gatekeeper, and which one of
we
you
have
is
Who's the gatekeeper and the keymaster?
the
We'll never know.
keymaster? Yeah.
I don't know, man. Vince,
I'll never know, man.
Vince, we're waiting for Vince Clortho to get here.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line in that movie when they're just like, "We got to get these two together."
But
Yeah.
Brian. Well, how you been doing this week?
Oh man, it's been a whirlwind of work, life, stuff like that. It's been schedule is just as an adult is just
It sucks.
it's never like it's very fluid. Scheduling as an adult is a very fluid thing. If you're one of those people that if you're young in your 20s, your short teeth years, they never they don't tell you about these parts of when you get older of how difficult scheduling of things are. If you get upset about things not quite going your way and scheduling wise, or I don't get how people do it. I don't understand how people have all the scheduled out. Here's all how things are going to happen in a day. It just doesn't seem to happen like that anymore.
It's a nice try.
For a long time, I've just kind of learned how to run around in a panic all day.
Yeah.
and somehow manage to get things done.
Never really what I thought I was going to get done at the beginning of the day, but definitely got stuff done.
Yeah. So it sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, Dad's job's never done, right?
It really is not.
Even a stepdad's job is never done.
But no, we're good. We survived all the hurricanes coming through in North Carolina. And,
Yeah, man. I was worried about you.
yeah, the western side of the state got pretty fucked.
Yeah, dude, it certainly did.
Yeah, and so there's all the of course horror stories coming over that. So, but we we fared well. It rained for like 3 or 4 days straight, but it never really got bad here. But it so that was good. But who knows? I guess we got another one coming. I don't know.
Really?
Well, you know what? Just you got $750. That should make things. That should square you up.
You ought to be all right. You ought to be
all
all
right
right.
at $750.
Where do I get $750?
All right, man.
Do I get
call-
$750
you
for a
call-
hurricane? Do we get paid for hurricanes now? Shit.
No, they're out of money.
Yeah, they're out of money actually. So.
The hurricanes are out of money. They're underfunded.
FEMA's out of money now. They spent it all on fucking illegal immigrants.
The hurricanes are out of money. Well, sorry,
they're-
guys, we spent all our money blasting out every checking the notes here. Says we're sundown towns.
Defund hurricanes. That's what I'm going to go.
Yeah.
This will be my defunding hurricanes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey man, that's sincere. That's sincere.
I mean, yeah, it's from the heart. It's a plight.
Yeah. It's
You
crazy.
know, I love, and let's never forget when Trump asked if we could drop an atomic bomb on one.
Dude, you know what? I'm with him on it right now.
Hey,
Like,
I don't
if
mind
it's
the
other
question so much. It's just you don't ask that question in the public. I think I don't. you know what I
that's-
mean? Like
That's right.
that's
That is
behind
definitely-
closed doors. Hey
That is
guys,
definitely
can we drop a bomb on it?
Yeah, that's
know, like-
definitely the one you do in the situation room. You're like, okay, we've tried spraying it with Windex. We've tried
We've tried shooing it off.
right. We've tried challenging it to a dance off, to Pogs, to Beyblade, Magic the Gathering. Like
We
none of
called
these
its
things are
mother.
working. Yeah, can we? Has diplomacy failed us? Fucking nuke this thing.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, I mean, it's not a totally dumb question, right? Like it's a silly question at its face.
It's all about energy. Yeah. How do
much-
you
yeah,
like?
how
What
much
can you do with
energy?
the? Yeah.
Like, how much heat does that release into the atmosphere? Does that change the dynamic of the
Guarantee you
weather
a
pattern?
nuke would probably do something to the hurricane.
Look, if you were to drop a nuke in it and it do if let's think about just the physics of why can't we all run this experiment?
It may make it worse.
Run it
right? Like,
in Max real quick. Can we get it done in the next hour?
And Houdini? Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you do it in Houdini? Can you make an atomic bomb go off inside of a hurricane? See what happens to the forces?
And it would dissipate it, yeah, for sure.
That's what I would think. It would completely dissipate almost instantly.
Yeah. Well, and yeah.
It had to be a big ass fucking nuke, though, right? Because nukes are by scale of a.
Well, let's not talk about
hurricane-
nuke. A nuclear bomb. We don't need a nuclear bomb, like
Well,
a hydrogen bomb. Yeah, a hydrogen bomb.
Czar type.
Look, I have an idea. I got an idea that's a revolutionary one. What we need to do is employ a team of scientists and researchers to find out where a hurricane gets plugged in. We can send in
Do we need to reset them?
Teams-
We just
teams-
unplug it and plug it back
teams of
in.
mercenaries to just unplug the hurricane and plug it back in.
They well, see, you're not from the south, so I know all about hurricanes. I've lived down here long enough. They all come from Africa.
Oh crap!
You're a racist.
Well, we send a lot of money down. Are we not sending enough?
We're not seeing enough money. What's going
They-
on?
This is the
Who's-
witch
it's-
doctor spinning up
somebody's-
hurricanes, man.
somebody's
It's off the coast of Africa.
Somebody's intercepting the money and feeding it to the sharks off the coast of Africa. It's pretty obvious what's going on here.
Pretty obvious. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's South Africa trying to reclaim Elon.
Give it back to us.
Yeah.
We want cyber.
Yeah, we want cyber trucks. We're gonna spin some voodoo your way.
Well, that's voodoo. Voodoo isn't in Africa, is it? I thought it was
Yeah.
just in
They
Haiti.
come from Africa.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, Haiti gets all the.
Well, maybe it was more
voodoo.
refined into what we know there, though.
Yeah. They
Right.
took it to Haiti and distilled it,
This,
and then brought it to Ohio
voodoo-
to reach
voodoo
its
shit.
final form.
Yeah.
No, it's called something else in Haiti. I'm sitting here trying to think about it. It's called
Hoodoo?
like, is it the hoodoo? I think it
Well,
might be the hoodoo.
In Brazil, it's called macumba.
Yeah, every culture's got some paints.
Yeah, I knew a guy whose whose parents wouldn't let him listen to the Sepultura Roots album.
Why, dude?
I mean, that's pretty good. It's okay for
in a
them.
lot of in a lot of inadvertent ways. It's actually good parenting, probably.
Hey, I don't know how old I was. What year did
Ewok
Steve Vai, The Audience is Listening, come out?
Steve Vai. Oh, Jesus, dude. That's
Audience Listening.
The
by
Audience
Steve
is
Vai?
Listening. Remember that?
Oh, the audience is listening.
dude. That's
You're
it's
gonna-
like in the
that's
80s.
that's some way back machine shit, brother.
right? Early 90s, 80s ish. That'd be.
Let's see. It's got to be like 85 or so. Let's see. What
I'll
was
say
it?
'86.
It was 1990, actually. Wow.
I was right the first time. I was like early
Wow.
90s.
Yeah, I actually thought it was earlier that myself, so I would have been probably like 12, whatever. But I got the CD, and I remember my mom taking it from me and me not understanding why, and her explaining to me what a cocaine nail was.
Oh,
And
That's
then he
important.
had, if you look on the,
you know, the funny thing is that you
if
never
you
knew
look
what
at the
that
cover,
was.
he's got a vial around his neck.
Mm.
And he's got a cocaine pinky. I didn't know
Now,
anything
then you
about
did.
that at all. It was like,
That's
thanks
the-
for telling me.
That's the Streisand effect, right there.
just try.
Streisand.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, yeah. So the Streisand effect was when there's a photographer that had some aerial photos of some property out in Malibu, and he just happened to take one of Barbara Streisand's of her house, right? Well, she flipped out, right, and she made a big kerfuffle about it. Well, since she made a big kerfuffle about it, everyone knew that it was her house. So if she would have kept her mouth shut and made not a big fun about it, and then
Oh, yeah. I see.
that's the whole the Streisand effect. Yeah.
The stress.
Streisand effect.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure
Otherwise-
you've heard that. Really.
Otherwise known as the Babs blowout.
That's a Basil. Yeah.
James Brolin and Babs is back at
The
it.
Babs booth.
The Babs bareback.
Babs got Babs boofing in the back shed.
Dude, this is what I've realized. I've watched a lot of videos lately of just things at the gatherings as we were talking about it. There's a lot of boofing going on at the gathering.
Dude,
And
no.
gathering
An
of the
enormous amount of boofing.
Come on.
Really?
Apparently, boofing is putting things in your ass, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but they do it with, I mean, as they interview people, it's like, what's the craziest thing you see? Be like, man, I saw a guy take 12 things of ecstasy and boof it last night. Or I watched a guy take a whole bottle of vodka and boof it. And it was like, everything was like all about like, oh yeah, I boofed, this, that, and the other. And I thought to myself, like, what is going on to where in the world of like young drugs that you need to, I never once, out of all the crazy shit I've done, looked at my drugs and thought they needed to go in my asshole.
You're doing the wrong kind of drugs, bro.
Apparently.
When I was a young lad, we called it hooping.
Yeah, well, that's what Stevie Nicks. She was big for hooping. She's, yeah, she used to get a lot of cocaine. blowing
She's
up
a
her
hooper.
Yeah, yeah. Mick Fleetwood used to just go.
See, I know about soaking, but we didn't know about hooping.
It's been around for a long time, man. I mean, Sesame Street was low key. Like, yeah, we're on the street.
Mr. Hooper.
Mr.
Mr. Hooper in his grocery store. Wasn't he the grocer? It was
Hooper's
Mr.
store, right?
Mr. Hooper's store.
Hooper never had pants on.
Yeah.
That's
Why
why.
you think?
Never
Why you
had
think
pants on.
how the fuck you think Oscar ended up in that?
He only
camp?
shot it from the waist up.
Just fucking this hooping, dude. There's hooping,
Yeah.
Mr. Hooper.
Oh, Snuffy. That's how Snuffy got so like Dave Chappelle called it out.
He's just standing there skipping that rope.
Right.
Oh, hooping, man.
Mr. Snuffleupagus.
He had beautiful eyelashes, though. He
Yeah.
did.
Those big old sweepy eyelashes. Reminded me of some girl I went to high school with.
Oh, yeah?
Just
She was
long
big-
eyelashes.
We had a
Big
buddy.
and furry.
Real dopey, long nose. Just wait. Maybe I just got really fucked up at a party and started talking to a snuffle.
Who was the comedian talking about who's nothing but a methed out elephant?
I don't know.
Hi, bird.
That was Chappelle. That was Chappelle. That was
Yeah, I
Chappelle.
think it was
Chappelle's got
Chappelle.
he's got a great skit on Sesame Street. Top notch.
Yeah, you talking about Oscar living in the trash can?
Bitch, ain't nobody helping me. I live in a trash can. Yeah, he was like, he was telling like people, what was it? Sesame Street teaches teach you how to judge people.
Yeah.
Oscar, you're a grouch. Bitch, I live in a trash can. And he's like, yeah, the count was the pimp. Holy shit, dude. So there is a video on YouTube. I don't think I can share and present. Maybe I can. I don't know.
I don't know. Might get some laws against us of sharing.
There's a YouTube video.
Josh pulled up. Oh wait, Josh is not here.
Sharing is not caring on YouTube.
Josh is in Florida doing whatever.
You know what? One day we'll catch up with him, and he's gonna have lots of catching up to do.
Josh is gonna. You know, this dude is gonna come back fucking married. What? Mark my words.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know that he like. That's a fair maiden that can tame that dragon.
Indeed.
And if that fair maiden breaks his heart, I will break her legs.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's
I will break
off of their head.
And
after his first thing, nah, dude.
And I will break her coccyx.
Were you there for all that? I don't think you were there.
Yeah, I lived. I mean, I was. Yeah. It was. I didn't know all the inner workings. I wasn't as tight with him then, so I didn't understand all the inner workings. But I was around when it was happening, so I knew her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna blow him out, but yeah, it was just like
No, I knew her. It was for about a year.
It's just a shitty situation for him.
Okay, here we go.
I love that guy. He's such a
I didn't know it was you lived with him, so you definitely knew him better than I did.
Am I allowed? Is it letting me? Is it letting me? Are you able to see what I've got on the screen?
I don't know what you're doing. I can't confirm nor deny anything.
Yeah, it says. Oh, he has to put it on the screen, I think.
Oh, I do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, see if you can.
Oh, I had it. Yeah. I had it full screen, so I was.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks, Josh.
This video.
Oh, I think I have seen this. Oh, I'm not hearing anything though.
You're not hearing it? You might have
kind of stuttering. You know, you're rendering.
I could
ban
you.
Here, I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you the thing in the chat.
I was just looking at the list of things I could do.
Please don't ban me.
I'm just curious how you get on there. Yeah, like how would you even get on there without
Fuck, dude, that link is wild.
The what is? I just grabbed it out of the.
That's the shit you would get from like your uncle.
Right.
Look what I found.
Yep. Hey, you better watch this. You ain't gonna believe
where he bleeps the
unnecessary censorship.
Yeah,
it's
good
the
stuff.
audio. It's the audio version of bubbling an image. I love it.
Man, one of some of the most creative people on the internet to me are the bad lip sync.
Dude,
guys.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say
NFL bad lip sync is so good.
I thought. You were
even
say,
any of them, they do like Trump speeches and stuff, or like they do or Biden speeches, or like political, all kind of different stuff.
I thought for sure you were gonna. I thought for sure you were gonna say horny Mormons.
I don't know nothing about horny Mormons. It's not. They can't say that's in my Google history.
You're on the internet.
Yeah, no, dude.
You're on the internet
thing right now is really kicking off, dude. They're just, dude.
Horny Mormons are kicking off.
They fuck all the time.
I mean, that's for soaking.
Yeah,
well, but that's why they have so many kids too, right? Can't spill the seed.
I mean,
no, that's Catholics.
Yeah, that's just that's just kind of.
It's like that Monty Python, right?
I can. Every sperm is sacred. I'm a Protestant, so I can wear whatever I want on the tip of my John Thomas. Yep, yeah, that's very close.
It's just so. Like again, let's like what is this culture's Monty Python? Like this generation's Monty Python.
Skibbity toilet.
Skibbity toilet.
So
your bullshit.
So your question is, what is the well thought out, practiced comedy of our time?
Thespians.
And give us a time. Give us like a timeline. Like
no, I mean like right now. All right, so I'm just thinking about like my kid. She's 8 years old, right? Like, so what is her when she grows up? Like, I guess 8's a little young for Monty Python, but no, because Monty Python was on TV around then. So it was one of the few like
Benny
comedy
Hill was one of
things.
mine,
Benny Hill. Oh God.
Benny Hill was not meant for little kids though. Like that.
No,
shit
it
was
came
like-
on late night. Remember, it came on.
Love Benny Hill. You just
Benny-
loved him. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I love Benny Hill.
Benny Hill came on after Saturday Night Live.
I was never sure why Benny Hill was funny when I watched it too young, and when I became a teenager, I was like, this dude's just a perv, man.
He was like, yeah, he was a very horny Mr. Bean.
Every skit was just like
He was a sweet dude, though.
it was just like boobs.
You ever watch interviews with him?
boobs. When he grabbed boobs.
It's such
That
a
was it.
sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure he was real laid back.
He was. He was a really giving. Like he's a really good.
I'm sure he's a giver.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was. What's the word? It's a C word.
C word.
Yeah, the word starts with C. It's like somebody who like gives, like charitable.
He's charitable.
The
Charitable
rapist.
for
The
some-
rapist.
For some
The
reason,
rapist for $300. That's therapist. That's therapist.
for some reason, the word charitable was escaping me this evening.
The rapist for $200.
I'll see it up how you like. Shut up.
And that's
The question is, does it work? Okay, so I've discovered that the little liquor store across the street from my house sells root beer schnapps.
Root beer schnapps.
Root
Huh?
beer schnapps, and for the life of me, I cannot stop drinking.
Insane little individuals too, huh?
Oh god, they're so gross.
they're not bad actually. I had one earlier.
Do they taste like just like a bad dum dum?
No, it tastes like
No, it tastes like
somebody drugged your root beer.
yeah. It's like if you had a root beer. Yeah, exactly. Like, that kind of tastes weird, but it still tastes like root beer.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Smells like a roofie.
You get the sip. It's roof beer.
Roof beer.
Dude, speaking of roofies, there was he's out. But there was a bartender, a chemist bartender, that what she does is if she noticed someone is spiking someone's drink, she has a chemical that she can put a couple drops in there and make that roofie, that chemical explosive in the glass, right? So she did this. She didn't know this guy was a cop. But this cop roofied this girl's drink, and she saw it. But everyone knows at that bar that when she pulls the drink back and covers it like this, everyone walks away from the thing, and the fucking thing explodes, right? It pretty much breaks the glass, or whatever. So anyway, she did that, and so it confirmed that it was a roofie, right, or whatever. And it hurt the cop. She gets arrested. It's blowing up. This fucking cop was going to roofie and rape this girl, and now she's in jail. Dude, it's insane. Like that woman's a hero.
Yeah. I think that sounds like how we all wanted every episode of the Jersey Shore to end.
All their glasses explode because they've been roofied this entire
We got
time.
a situation over here. Boom.
Yeah, like they're in their 50s. They're like, I just woke up from the roofie.
Yeah, but
Right.
yeah, no, it's wild. So there's this whole thing, court thing, or I don't know. She's, but the thing gets me is that someone who does that, that's probably their fucking 12th or 6th time, or how many times they've done it.
Yeah, how many times they get away with
And,
it?
and he's a cop.
How many times
You
is that?
know he's
cup?
done it a lot.
Yeah,
Right?
right. That's like the dentist that like gives you the laughing gas and just digs in your butt while
Hey man,
posting
if
the
the distance
cuts.
is in my butt, you go
Wait.
for it.
Well,
You're
I've
gonna-
been to the
you're in for a
dentist.
surprise.
I've been to the dentist many times and had laughing gas many times. I don't think there's now why I don't mind him digging around in my mouth. I don't think there's a chance that I'm going to get him to dig around in my butt.
well, rectal orthodontia is a real thing.
Rectal orthodontia.
It's
Like vaginal orthodonty.
listen. We all grew up.
What is
Have
it,
you
a
ever
cage?
really read the lyrics?
Did they put a cage around it or?
No, listen, man. Listen. Have you ever read the lyrics to "Smooth Criminal"?
No.
No, I'm kidding. I guess that's good. That's as far as I thought it through.
Although I did actually, I was working the other day and just had it on like MTV Classic
Yeah.
in the background and just kind of listening to the lyrics of One Night in Bangkok
Oh yeah.
and had no idea how promiscuous that song was.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great song, man. I mean,
It is a great song,
Mike
but I had no
Tyson
idea
said
how much it was what you would expect One Night in Bangkok to be, I guess.
Right. As much as I love it, I still it's painful to hear Mike Tyson put it through a NutriBullet in The Hangover. But I do love that. I do love that song, and I'm surprised that some band like Disturbed didn't cover it and ruin it as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Seems like something Creed would have done.
Creed does, yeah. Have you
covers One Night in Bangkok?
There's some videos out there called Creed, like the band, and then it's the other word in the search is shreds, where like they take like a Creed video or something like that. Yeah, Creed shreds, and then they just like somebody with my level of ability tries to play along.
Yeah, there's a guy on the internet that plays drums, and he'll put into AI like one of the audio AIs.
Yeah,
and he'll put like make me a song about a caveman singing about a rock.
Holy shit.
You know, and like the shit is just hilarious. And like, but he tries to play drums along to it, but it's like absolutely hilarious. But what's funny is when he does things like, sing Eminem Lose You, done by Frank Sinatra. And like the way it rearranges and like sometimes he has those happy accents where it was like, holy shit, that was badass. Frank Sinatra singing Eminem was actually really badass.
Right. The Terminators are out there taking notes, man.
Dude, have you seen the new those Frankie Valli TikToks?
No.
He's like 90-something years old. Oh, and he's up there and he's all lip syncing, but he's like, he looks dead.
Oh yeah, no, I have seen that.
Like,
right? He's not even. They're just playing the backing track, and he's just barely. He's like straight up just moving his lips. He's not even singing the song.
Let that man rest. He made a deal with the mob boss or the devil or something.
I want to see him. I want to see him fight Ozzy Osbourne in a fight to the dinner table.
Look, I know how
they're not ready to go.
I understand having a passion for something. I get it, right?
Sure. Oh,
so it's as a fan, when you're younger, you look at something and be like, oh, that person's continuing to tour until they're 80 because they love it so much.
No,
but like, no, it's because they got to pay their damn bills. Like, if they could, they would have stopped when they were 40 years old and just,
though, I wonder though, on a realistic note, you think about this as a man, right? We had to have a purpose,
right?
And I think maybe part of that is just doing something, right? Because I feel like a lot of dudes, when we get older, once we stop working, a lot of us just die.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just he wants to be out and do his thing. Like,
Yeah, the guys from Slayer just went back on tour, and they're easily like in their late 50s.
Oh,
hey man, they sell those 70-foot scarab boats to some people because they're completely useless boats unless you just want to go drive around and party. Right. Like so. I wouldn't mind being one of those dudes for a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, just imagine being in your 60s and being like, all right, I'm gonna go tour a country, and yell Slayer songs, and deal with like methed up fans yelling fucking Slayer.
That's what I mean. I don't think they still. I don't think they have. I can't believe that it's just like Mick Mars is out there with is still playing because of just the purity of the music, right? Like he can't move around.
Well, no, he's done. That poor guy's done. He doesn't tour with them.
Oh, he doesn't tour with them anymore. Mm-mm. Well, even when it was just not too long ago where he was.
Yeah,
he had like Mick Mars had like a degenerative bone disease.
Yeah, his bone are like turning into concrete or some crazy shit.
Yeah, he's all.
Oh shit, he has that where he becomes stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, his mom like saw Medusa or something, or his dad did right when he was coming, and they had him.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
he just weighs like 1,200 pounds.
The dad was
He's
like,
a little bitty dude, and he just weighs 1,200 pounds. That's why he can't move.
Yeah.
It's just too extenuating on his poor sinewy muscles.
Have you seen the skeletons of those people though? They've taken their skeletons and like presented them. It's crazy to see that all their muscles, you can see. They turn to calcium or
everything.
Bone.
I think that's what he has. I think that's what he has. Yeah.
Shoot me, just because they say that you have to figure out what stance you want to be in for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think that's what he has.
You have to stand in whatever position.
Yeah, it's basically all his bones are going to fuse together one day.
I'd be
like this. I'd be like, fucking yeah.
sitting there, like, help me
I'd
get
be like,
help me get one hand up like that, and the other one's just like,
deep double V. I want
Yeah.
deep
or,
double
or
V.
hey, NWA.
I don't know. I feel like that would be uncomfortable for a while. After a while, though.
You're just you're at Thanksgiving. You can't sit down. You're just standing there trying to have a civil conversation with your podiatrist.
Yeah, just sit down like in a position where it's easy for people to get a hold of me and pick me up and move me.
Okay.
And, like, run through. Like, I want to be people need to be able to grab me on either side and run through a crowd with me. Being like,
Doc,
here he
this
comes,
plant-
coming to get you, coming to get you.
This plantar wart's been killing me for way too long. Can you?
Yeah. And I can't. Man, I was talking with Brandon earlier. I've been reading about Karl Marx, and I decided that if I have a time machine, I didn't announce this to Brandon.
Hey, Zach, real quick.
Yeah.
Don't look down, but Brandon's right behind you.
I got you.
But I decided that when I achieve my time machine, one of the stops along my way is to go back in time, introduce myself to my younger self and my punk band days, and say, "All right, man, the name of your punk band is Uncle Carl's Carbuncle."
Uncle Carl's Carbuncle.
Yes.
That's what you're gonna use your one shot at a time machine to do.
One shot at a time machine, dude. If you have a time machine, there is no one shot. It's all like,
Have you not watched any movies?
oh man, tons.
Okay.
Okay,
No.
The time machine
I
always
haven't seen a
gets
single
fucked up.
movie.
everybody. So
What's a movie?
I get, you know what? None of it matters. Whatever you do is going to fuck up the future anyway. So I might as well go back in time and introduce myself. Like, first, okay, so let me back this up a second. When I was 14 years old, I was thinking about time machines, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to building a time machine. And my very first stop is I'm going to come back at some random point in my life, unannounced, and just kick the living shit out of myself.
No one, though, ever gets a
if I
time
don't?
machine and goes to the period of time where they have extra time machines.
Well, no, of course not. 'Cause
You know,
that's
like
not-
nobody's time machine has extra part. Like Bill and Ted's phone booth didn't have an extra fucking inside of an umbrella.
Yeah, well, they fixed
You know,
that.
like at no point in time did they run across the inside of an
They used
umbrella where they
bubblegum
could have
to
fixed
fix
it.
that shit.
They fixed
Yeah.
it with gum, and I believe that day can happen again. But so I've been living the rest of my life since I was 14 years old. After that moment, I was like, oh my God, now I have to live the rest of my life looking over my shoulder and being afraid of like, if I live and never get an ass kicking from a future me, then I know I failed.
You drinking sweet tea, Brian?
Coca-Cola Classic.
Hell
I should have
That's
known
better
that.
than sweet tea. Dude, Coke, like McDonald's Coke, is
It depends. Sometimes it's a good mix. You know, here in the South they have those. I don't know if they have them out there, but those freestyle machines at a lot of the fast food places. So when they're one of the freestyle machines always have the great, like, perfect mix.
dude. It's so. I love the bite. Dude, I don't know. I used to not drink Coke hardly at all until I met my wife, and now she's got me drinking. Dude, there's nothing better than a Coke.
I was gonna get a 6-pack of beer for the podcast tonight. Sit here and have. And I was like, you know what? I don't really want to drink tonight because I'm gonna drink tomorrow during football day.
Dude, how about the Alabama game, dude?
Oh,
What?
Jesus, roll Tide.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Is that how it rolls?
That 17-year-old receiver for Alabama is insane. Yeah, roll Tide. That's where you can throw it. You can throw it out right
You
there.
can roll Tide in front of Toby right now too, because Toby can shut up.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
because
roll
Auburn's terrible. But yeah, they
Roll
Dude,
Tide.
that was a wild play.
well, there was a couple of them. If you saw like the other one where he like bobbled the ball all around and caught. I don't know. That kid's insane.
It was like doink.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa, whoa! I got my bucket of cum. Whoa.
They got a kid on Zach on bring you up to speed. They got a kid on Alabama's team this year that's like he was the only person to ever win 2-time Mr. Alabama football, but he graduated a year early, so he's only 17 years old, and he's going up against they went up against the number 1 team, in the country last week. So he had presumably the best backs in the country he was going up against, and made him look like fucking fools. Like straight up, like doing circus catches and shit at 17 years old, just
I'm not even
leaving
a
people.
college football guy. I don't really care for football, but that was one of the highlights. I was like, good lord, holy crap, that was impressive.
Roll Tide.
Roll
Yeah, roll Tide, and then he had a homage to is it the program or which one was it where it had what do you do in this play? He's like I hit the end so hard his mama hurts.
That
You
was
know,
the
and
program,
yeah, the program, and then the last one he's like, what about on this one? He's I kill everybody. So he had kill everybody underneath his thing, so he got a bunch of heat for that. But then right after the game, he changed his picture to his Twitter or whatever to Michael Vick holding a puppy because they beat the Georgia Bulldogs. So I love the kid's
incredible.
swag, man.
Dude,
He's got
what a-
swag. He's got swag. I like him.
What?
That
I
is-
hope he doesn't ruin his career.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty great. But I love it seeing, little kid out there, 17 years old.
That's cool. I didn't know you could do that in Maya. But you can select shit in the fucking. That's cool. Sorry.
But
Live
yeah.
tuts. It's live tuts.
Hey, it's live tutorials with Brandon and Zach. We're going to show you how to do CG the professional way.
We're gonna show you how to do this. Do it.
Dude, that's way better than most of the people where you get on there and they're like, today, this is what we're going to try to accomplish. It's just that monotone. Or somebody with a really thick accent.
You know, one of the best tutorials I ever watched was, at least in the early days of Gnomon, was Robert Nearhorst doing a nuke tutorial. That dude, it cracked me up. He was, I don't know, it was really funny. If everyone gets a chance, watch one of the old nuke tutorials from Robert Nearhorst. Holy shit. Like, I don't know, maybe it's not as funny now or whatever, but it was surprisingly engaging.
I watched an amazing amount of Andrew Kramer. I always thought he was a good.
Yeah.
Dude, right? Yeah. Andrew Carey. I'm not an After Effects guy, but I remember watching his stuff. I was like, this guy.
He was really good at it, yeah. But I mean, he tried to throw in dad jokes or whatever. But he was really. It was it was more of a. You could tell he put in some production to it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a shoot from the hip monotone, Or then you have the other ones that are like, and then do this, and then do this, and then you do it, and it's like the super cuts of it or whatever. It's like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, slow the fuck down. This is not a TikTok video.
I did a Noma tutorial, and it was like that. I saw a review for mine once, and it was just like the sound production sucked, blah blah. I could hear planes, and you could because I lived next to LAX right at the time,
Right.
And so even in the video, I said, "Hey, listen, you're probably going to hear some shit in the background. I apologize in advance. I live right next to the airport. I have triple pane windows. We're still going to hear an airplane now and then or whatever." But yeah, even mine, I was like, "And we're going to do this, and we're going to cover this right now, and we're going to do this." Dude, making tutorials, good tutorials is
Not
hard.
easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's not hard.
Really
It's not easy at all. It's hard to do the tutorial. It's hard to edit yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's about you have to be able to teach something. You have to know it inside and out, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't just have a passing knowledge of how to do something. It's such a
Well, it'd be hard for me to shoot it and like do it and then like have that and then go all the way through the end with it. Meaning like I would want to change it up so many different times or whatever. And it's because it would be me, like editing me, and I can't. I hate my own voice. I can't stand it.
I can't listen to my own voice because I sound like even right now I don't think I sound Southern, but I know I do a little bit, and I'm not even trying to hide it, right? But like it's one of those things that once I become more comfortable, it gets a little more Southern. I start getting right? But then that sounds. I felt like no one's going to trust what I'm saying. No one's going to trust a Southerner saying this shit. Like, well, we're going to take this alpha. We're going to auction. What we're going to do is we're going to.
I'll tell you what we're going to do.
And we're gonna do some grade, and then we're gonna pre-melt that baby back on top of it and do a key mix. It's like
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Look at that, clean edges.
I swear it feels like to me because of the way that Zach's sitting in the front. I feel like Zach's doing one of those review videos of like, and he's what there's a like it's imposed like I'm watching Zach review Brandon's video in the background, right? Because it almost looks like Zach's on a green screen.
That would be a weird.
And that you're playing a video. You're playing like the Brandon video game. This could be.
I would
Make
watch
Brandon laugh.
I would watch that. I would watch that video. Let's make that video.
We could just make our future podcast be like an inception of each other. We all do a green screen, and then we just put each other right behind each other, sitting right over each other's
looking at
shoulder.
each other's shoulders and shit.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Right there, so I'd be like this. I'd be like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Zach?
Yeah, just
What are you doing?
we'll be stacked up all behind each other's heads, so we're having to constantly look around each other to see.
Oh my god, that would be. I would kind of love that.
What? My turn. Put it in the front.
Roll
Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. See, we just need. This is why we need a producer. If he'll ever get moved in somewhere,
Where's Josh?
I think he's moving to Florida. Is he moving to Florida? Moving his girlfriend to Florida? I don't know. Something's happening, Florida bound.
Yeah.
And so that's why he wasn't making us with an appearance this evening.
He's underwater, which is a bad term to use right now, talking about Florida. But whatever.
Too soon.
Boo soon.
Yeah. Now, Florida didn't get hit too bad. I mean, as far as like the vast amount of Florida, there was
the lower Alabama got hit, right?
Not that bad. I mean, like,
That's
look,
what they used to call
up in the Big
Panhandle.
Bend of
It's
Florida,
lower
the Big Bend
Alabama.
of Florida got pretty fucked up, right? But like, it wasn't as I don't think the surges were near as high as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
But I think most of the destruction came in like, western North Carolina and Tennessee, even into like Knoxville and stuff like that.
That just saved you some roto right there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah! Look at that.
Are you making your machines learn?
We're doing he's doing. I'm watching it. I'm supervising.
Your backseat supervising.
Look, there's not a lot of men that let sit behind me and critique my work live while I do it. Brandon Young is one of the few. Proud. The backseat drivers. He's got a backseat driver's
That's just
license.
all the relief in his whole body when the cryptomats work.
How many times, Zach, have you worked at a studio though, where that have been in this exact situation and hated that dude behind you, and the whole day long he's just turned around fucking talking to you?
Oh my god, that's been me every single time I've been in the studio. I'm like, I'm the dude that they hate.
It was shitty because when me and Zach worked together, I sit in the back here and he sit in the front, so we don't
Yeah.
like, hey,
They did.
remember that time?
After because we sat next to each other pretty close when I started, and then after like a month, they're like, we're fucking separating you guys.
And then they ain't like that. And
Yeah.
we were like hollering and shit all the time.
Just
Like,
like,
you guys
dude.
gotta calm down. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, then we got this Korean dude over here breaking his fucking keyboard because he doesn't like his Mac.
Yeah, we're
Like,
just
learn
laughing.
Max, you piece of shit. Like, holy shit, just chill out. Motherfucker, and just scream and walk out like, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I've worked with a couple of those kind of people, the ragers.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Like, I used to have a guy that would rage like so bad all the time, and like break his mouse or throw it. He was always bouncing his stylus off his monitors.
You know what? The gloves are off for VFX tonight, guys. You know why? Because fuck this industry, for one.
Yep.
If you want to get into it, God bless you. But we've been through the ringer so much, and I'm willing to just to talk about it.
You know what? You talk about it. You just get it off your chest.
Preach.
I mean, that's about it. That's where that Korean.
Go
That
on.
was all
Go
I wanted- that's
go
all I
on.
wanted to say.
That's all.
Go on. Get.
That was really it. I feel better now. Thanks.
No,
Oh,
that's
that was
that's about it though. But if you're if anyone's watching, which I doubt they are,
Yeah, no. One of our videos has 58 views.
well, I tell you what. You know what? If anyone's watching and wants to get the VFX, I would just
Run the other way.
run the other way. Or unless you're rich and you just want to you like to torture yourself, and you like to just to be go for it. You know what I mean? The heyday of visual effects is the golden age is over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like everything though, like I think there's turnover of like the old guard and the new guard. We're definitely the old guard of this is the way it was in my day, and like we just don't know what the new way is. And in 10 years there'll be a new way of doing it, and
I don't
that'll
know.
be the way to.
don't think we're the old guard necessarily. I think the old guard is someone before us. I feel like
Well, okay, fair.
I feel like I think we're the first probably generation of visual effects artists that have changed with the times so much that we're willing to do the change, right? But there's just no work, right? And then we've also realized that it's just kind of a shitty, toxic industry.
Without the invention of 3D, there really hasn't been a major change in visual effects in the past 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, you could say AI but not
right.
really.
No, it hasn't changed visual effects until just recently. The threat of AI has changed visual effects, but AI itself has not changed visual effects. I don't think. Not yet, anyway. I think it might.
AI is one of those things, like, the entire time we've all been in VFX, I don't know if I'd say it's producers or what, but driving forces that get the material made have eagerly been sitting, wringing their hands, waiting for any opportunity to squeeze more blood out of the stone, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just their position and their job. And AI gave them the hint, like, they smell the blood. And they haven't figured out how to get it out of the stone, but they were like, oh, we found more. We took these samples, and our readings indicate that there's at least a drop of blood left. And they're like, squeeze harder.
Squeeze, Franklin, squeeze.
It's just, and it's the Baron in Dune, in the David Lynch tune.
Yes.
And he's just like in the room, and he like unplugs the fucking guy's chest and just lets all the gives him an oil change without putting any new oil in. And he's just like runs around, and then he goes and flies up on the ceiling.
He's like, you're clearly not a Toyota.
That was the executives of visual effects world.
I feel like it's changed the manpower allocation to a certain extent with certain parts of our industry, like concept, illustration, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
certainly. And
you just angered him. You started talking about illustrations, and he just got out of here.
I agree. I think it has changed visual effects in a certain way, right? But I don't think it is as crazy as, say, the jump from, say, let's say 2000. I'll say this. So from 2008. 2007 to 2008, 2009, right? That's when we started really using fluid dynamics,
right,
in visual effects. That was in a sense internally, that was a huge step forward in that sense, right? And I feel like it's probably in the same long lines as fluid dynamics being regularly used in productions, right?
Right.
Because you're doing more, but I feel like AI is.
Well, we were talking about a breakthrough. You were talking about a step forward.
Yeah, breakthrough.
And a breakthrough is different, right? The biggest breakthrough has been, in our industry, has been 3D and the capabilities of 3D. That's the last thing that has really affected and rocked jobs, because, like, when 3D came in, what was it, late 90s, is when all the animation studios start shutting down. All the traditional animation studios, I think 99, 2000 or something like that is when, like,
Disney,
all Disney shut down in Orlando and all that kind of stuff. And, like, so, I don't remember anything else that really hit the industry where jobs were affected and the threat of something changed.
Yeah,
now,
you're right.
Outside of 3D, I don't really think of anything that can really match it with the way AI, but it was really the threat of, and what we learned as it moved out is that it didn't kill off 2D, because 2D still has its thing, right? Like, it just wasn't as heavily used, and a lot of those people transitioned into 3D. Because for the longest time at Pixar, you couldn't get hired as an animator. Like, because when I came out of school, I'm like, I want to apply for Pixar, and I look up what the requirements were for Pixar, and I'm like, well, fuck. I don't even come, it's not even for junior. It was like the entry level was like 20 years experience in traditional animation. And it said, did not have to know computer animation. They would teach that to you. I remember it saying all that. And I'm going like, well, that makes sense, because if you know how to actually squash and stretch and anticipate and follow through, and do those things, it'd translate over to their, because when they first started, their puppetry tools were more like traditional animation tools.
Yeah.
And so that's where, you know, it. I can see where people transition, and so I think it'll be the same thing. It's just people will transition into it. Some of the old guard will get out of it because it's like, fuck it, mirror. But
Yes.
you know, it'll evolve. I don't think it'll go away. I just can't see there ever being a non-human driven creative behind Hollywood and entertainment.
Yeah, I feel like no, I think you make an excellent point though, as far as like the breakthrough, as far as affecting jobs and just an overall thing. Yeah, absolutely. I think it is that sort of breakthrough. I think too, like for me now, and I don't know about much other people, but like, and I haven't used Comfy UI that much. I feel like that's really changing the way we render things, the way we can on the fly do things. But at the same time, it still takes a good eye to know it looks good, right? Just because
Right,
AI,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
totally.
yeah, because we've all seen the crap AI can put out. We've seen some beautiful thing AI can put out. Like,
I don't need AI to help
my
me.
favorite meme that AI's put out is the one with Jesus standing there with all the wheels he's taken.
With all the wheels.
He has like a trophy room full of steering wheels.
Oh, really?
And it's like it's Jesus standing there, and he's like looking all gangster. And it's like Jesus with all the wheels he's taken.
That's fucking tight.
Yeah, so like I love the beauty of that kind of thing where AI can spit out that kind of humor. But like,
Sure.
you know, we've all looked at. I saw something today. I just went down a YouTube hole, and somehow it was like I think I was watching some of those 90 days in things. You ever seen those? Where you know what that is, Zach?
Yes.
So I was watching some of those, and it went into some other thing where it was like top 10 scariest prisoners in the world of all time, and it was like, you know, some of these people, you know, had killed a bunch of guards and all this kind of stuff, but it showed like the guy who they said was the scariest of all time was
Charles
this.
Bronson.
No, it was completely made up because they were like, this is the only picture that exists. He was almost 7 foot tall, and they had to keep him tied with chains.
His
and it
dick
was like
was the size of my forearm.
yeah, you could totally look at the picture and tell it was just an AI picture. Like it was completely an AI picture.
Dude, the fucking AI fucking reels and shit people put out there are so wild.
People are making some really dumb stuff.
And dude, the people on Facebook, they'll like eat that shit up to like the old people. They'll be like, this guy, this legless veteran who's looking for money, like he's quadriplegic, it's just completely fake. You know, it's like, it's my birthday. No one loves
You just made me think about something. How much can we trust a demo reel anymore?
Never could.
Holy
Well, that's
shit,
very true.
I didn't think about that.
But right, like if I came out of school and like I could, you know, knew a little bit about AI, I could totally fake give me some, you know, wipes of, you know, before and after of or you know, blah blah blah. You know, you totally could just create a reel.
Yeah, well, you know, man,
You're not gonna keep a job for very long, obviously, if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But.
Right. I was just well. Here's something crazy. I was just on set a couple days this week, and there was kids there, and I say kids because they were really young, and the stuff that they were wearing, I was like, why would you want to wear? Oh yeah, that's right, I'm old.
Damn kids.
But they were working.
And they were on your lawn. That's how you knew they were kids.
Definitely on my lawn. But they were working on the social media department, and I was like, I was kind of listening to them talk and listening to the things that they were doing and looking at the equipment they were using and the gear they had and like how they were approaching everything, and I was like, holy crap, man! Everything is really like. From the time that I jumped in this industry to now, new things have emerged that have changed everything, right? And it's really like, it's hard for me, in spite of how successful it is, it's really hard for me to take it seriously. And I kind of like grappled with it a bit because I was like sitting there and I was kind of like, you know, I landed on like, yeah, I'm just being a grumpy old shit.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. You know, whatever. There's no look. The older you get, the more it just creeps in. You know what I mean? Like you
That and
You're
World
the
War
kind
II. It
Yeah.
totally creeps in as a pure guy.
right. It lets that and the considering the Roman Empire every day at least once.
Yeah, and my anger towards crabgrass.
Okay, man. Look, there's a family podcast.
No, so it's not.
There's no need. There's no need, Brian, to get that
We don't get
level,
canceled.
to get that level of
By
vitriol.
Scott's lawn.
Yeah, and then the that's how I'm getting old. My anger towards crabgrass and the complete opposite of my excitement for cheap gas
Yes.
is how I know those opposite ends of the spectrums of my emotions are how I know I'm
You know
getting
what I
old.
hate is when you see the gas, the price. You're like, oh, it's $3.50, awesome. But then you go there, it's like it's $3.50 with a car wash. What do you think? I'm like, fuck you! I didn't want a car wash.
$3.50 with a
No
car.
one wants a goddamn shitty car wash at your shitty micro fucking indoor thing.
$3.50 with a car wash, huh? And then you just like flip out and throat punch the kid sitting at the register.
I'm taking these chicharrones with me.
We upset my cat here. Sorry.
Poor pig.
Yeah.
But
He's like, get him! Don't let him win, you motherfucker. Go ahead.
yeah, dude, cheap gas. We just got cheap gas today at Costco. Didn't we, Zach? Affirm
We
my
sure
message.
We sure did. Look, I'm not one to to toot horns, but we got cheap as.
You're supposed to point at me here
I
and
guess-
go, this TikToker says that.
Our gas that we got was cheap AF.
And I was saying,
I just see him dancing like what's his name on What's Up With That?
no, you have to do this. You have to actually do this. You have to go. And I was saying in that I was really saying.
Or you can be that. You know they've got that. You lived in Atlanta, so you know him, but he's actually made it on national news several times. But the official sign language interpreter for Atlanta.
She don't know shit, right?
No, well, they did have. I forgot about that. They did have that one lady that came in that she didn't know what she was completely making it up. Like it was during.
I remember that. Oh my God.
But they have another guy that if you watch him, he also does like all the festivals, and he's extremely gay, which is fine. But like, but he goes to all these different festivals and does like the sign language and like.
Let's just put his face
but he's
back.
also the guy that does, like stands next to the mayor but he puts so much. I've never seen somebody so expressive with their. He's the greatest sign language interpreter in the planet.
I mean,
But they got some really great videos of him doing it at like festivals and stuff, where he just like he'll be in a like a tie-dyed shirt and his jorts, his little shorty shorts, and then just dancing and doing sign language.
just
It's
look
great,
at the fuck.
living his best life, man.
Hell yeah! God bless him.
God bless him.
But I forgot about the girl that completely just got up there and lied. How do you do that? How do you
don't know,
follow
but-
through? I get it telling somebody, yeah, I know a
That
little
bitch
sign
did that on a
language.
dare. You know she got a dare from someone saying, apply for this job, or she applied for the job drunk, like rage applying.
Have you ever
and
seen
then
that,
one night
Zach?
she said, oh shit! I got
Oh
this."
yes, I have. That is in the top 10 like things to ever happen. Period.
Absolutely.
When I saw that, I was like, you know what? I respect it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, well,
you know what?
you baby
You got
girl.
all the way up there to where it's like, you knew you didn't know sign language, but yet you're like, well, whatever, fuck it.
I wish I had bosses that would do the same thing.
Right. I legitimately, I legitimately think it's one of the top 10 moments of television during my entire life. Seeing that, like when they figured it out that this person was bullshitting that they knew sign language, and sitting up there next to like unelected bureaucrats and elected officials, and they're sitting there just waving their hands around. The first thing I did was laugh my ass off. Second thing I did was laugh my ass off and think about Daniel Day-Lewis insulting his deaf son's character in There Will Be Blood. Talking, all you do is flap your hands around and stuff, and then it got even funnier.
Hey, can I ask you guys? Can I sign real quick for you guys?
Sure.
I do know a little bit of sign language.
Please.
I learned this from a deaf girl in high school. It's
Yeah, you dated a deaf girl in high school, didn't you?
no, not high school. I did her in the Navy, but like, so it's cook me some. That means cook me some pork chops, ho. Or popcorn, ho. No, that's pork chops.
So popcorn. Either popcorn or pork chops. We don't know. One of the two.
No, this is popcorn.
I love that.
Pork
That's
chops
not.
is pork chops. That pork chops is this. Popcorn is this.
I thought that was Milk the Pig.
Huh?
Okay, no, you're the.
Popcorn like this is popcorn. That's what she told me. I don't know.
This.
But yeah, no, I dated this deaf girl. I'm still gonna cancel.
It's a total.
So
language.
I used to think she was not deaf, right? So I thought because my friend set me up with her, right? And I thought, oh, they're just playing with you.
God damn it.
I have a feeling she was just teaching you completely bullshit sign language.
Absolutely.
Just to troll you.
She probably was, but then I dated this deaf girl, and she really was deaf, by the way. Spoiler warning: she was deaf.
You're sitting with like her other deaf friends, and you're like, "What's wrong with him?" Be like, "He's foreign."
Yeah. So, catch me out, guys. So here we go. I used to play little tricks on her to test her deafness.
As one does when you're trying to. Hey, you don't want to let a deaf person get.
So, are you like really deaf?
No, and so how I would do is like when she'd hug me, I'd be like, oh yeah, whatever, like hug, and I'd be like, I'd just say some stupid shit to her, like, like I don't know, I forgot what it said to her, but I would say something absurd, like, dang, you're really stinky tonight, or something like that, right? And she'd be like, what'd you say? And I'd be like, oh, you look great. I really enjoyed the hug or something, right? And then I would yell at her at Walmart, right?
As you do.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't want to use her name. I'm gonna think of another name. I'll say Valerie. I'd be like, Valerie. When she turned around, I'm like, Valerie, what? You gotta help me, like that. And then she caught me once. She's like, what are you yelling for? And I'd be like, oh shit, okay, so you're really deaf. Like that was like, I mean, test, right?
You were actively making fun of her?
No, it wasn't. I was like, okay, she's deaf.
She's definitely
deaf.
The worst thing about it is she will never find this podcast and hear that impersonation of her.
But then, so we went to her house and stuff, and they found out like she was like super deaf.
This is what I've decided. After dating her for 3 months, I've now decided she's super deaf.
Because she was like, her bed vibrated, and then I had to use TTY back in the day before texting. I like talk to someone on the phone. So I'd be like, she would start getting like, I'd start talking to her, and then she'd start getting dirty talking, and it was really embarrassing because the guy, you could, they always say in telemarketing, you can hear a smile. You can always hear a smile. You can always hear a smile, right? You can always hear that smile. And so, she would say stuff, and I'd be like, oh, dude. I was like, just tell her, I gotta go. I'll be over later or something, right? It was super. Dude, back in the day, sorry. Well, anyone deaf, I'm not trying to offend, but that was because I had really terrible friends.
Phone sex with TTY has to be one of the funniest shit.
It never went that far, but it almost went a couple times.
I actually really love this story.
It's a good one. I have to imagine the guy in the middle, the phone. I want to write a skit
and
of the TTY phone operator that's in the middle of a phone sex call.
He's like, I really want you right now. It's like, dude, like, I really want you right now. I can't wait for you to be here next to me.
But they have to play both sides. That'd be great.
I want to.
And you have to say end. You have to end or done with the conversation.
Right. I would love to be on the receiving end of that and be talking to the person on the phone who's translating, and when they say something like that, be like, hey, wait, man, on the side. Really?
No, that happened a couple times. That happened a couple times because I'd be like,
am I talking to the?
I'd be like, dude, I don't listen. I remember telling the guy once, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to handle this right now. I was like 20 at the time.
My fragile little mind can't comprehend it all.
I was like, can we just? I don't know. It was super awkward and weird, and yeah. I got plenty of those stories.
It's a beautiful love story, though.
She was
Roll Tide.
She was a good lady, and I saw her later in life at a Walmart of all places, and she was yelling at me in the deaf voice, and I knew it was her, and I was like, "Oh my God, hello!" And I was like, "Hey," and I was with someone already, and yeah.
Did you see that?
Dude, that looks cool. That's like some fucking.
It's going nuclear.
Chef around Rome.
You putting a nuke in a tornado over
there? Yes, you could say that.
Yeah.
That's like remember Lightwave had a eagle in a barrel.
Eagle in a barrel.
Yeah, so there was a Lightwave had, if you dug into like their plugins and one of their in Modeler, they had like some of the, in their presets, they had an eagle in a barrel. And it was literally that. It was a barrel with an eagle too big in it, standing in pose with like his arms sticking out of the barrel. But the reason is I guess because somebody called up one time to the helpline asking for an eagle in a barrel. And so they ended up putting it in the future.
It's making a comeback, by the way.
Lightwave?
Yep.
Haven't they tried that a couple times already?
No, this is the only other time they're trying. And it is actually...
This is it.
I have a buddy who is a lightweight. I'm going to name him right now. Sean Jackson, if you're listening, you son of a bitch. He's amazing 3D guy. This guy, like, he was one of the guys that helped develop the look for Battlestar Galactica, Firefly, all that stuff, right? So he was one of those lightweight guys. And he has been on the cusp of all this stuff. He's been showing me a lot of stuff. He's actually done some live stuff with me, to show me. And it's, I mean, I'm not a lightweight guy, don't care. But he's been showing me some really cool stuff that they've been doing with that. It's cool because I
enjoyed it.
I think it's good to have competition in a realm that is really not there right now, right? You have Blender and you have Houdini, and you know Maya Max, whatever. But that's kind of it, really. You can't really count Modo.
Maya and Max have kind of homogenized themselves together, it seems.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like Blender is making some amazing. Blender's awesome. Like for what is the only problem with Blender is you become a plugin jockey for the most part. But it's a free software. So
there's only a few of them that take different approaches to the whole kind of the operations of it. And that's, I mean, really, it's you know, because all of them are kind of the same, but Houdini's definitely different. And Lightwave's definitely different.
Yeah.
So I think there's always, you know, rooms for, because I always liked Lightwave in the sense of like all the buttons were labeled with what the fuck the button was. It wasn't like a picture of some weird little squiggly triangle or something.
I'll tell you what, I've said this before. Lightwave.
Say it again.
I'll say it again. back in the time around the 2004-ish, 2003-ish, Lightwave had a plugin called F Prime.
Oh yeah.
And at the time,
for lighting.
Yeah, at the time using Max, you had V-Ray or I-Ray or whatever the.
I don't think there was anything else that could touch F Prime at the time.
Mental Ray that was shipped with it.
Right.
Yeah, but nothing else had the real time lighting that you could do in F Prime, right? Nothing did.
Maya had Mental Ray, and I was a Maya guy, right? Like so. I would use Maya and I would build these gigantic scenes, and there was no way to get them to render. You just hit disk and run out of memory, like no matter what. And so, at a certain point, somebody was like, "Man, you should try using F Prime, Lightwave." I did pulled this scene into F Prime and Lightwave and rendered it out. Dude, bonkers.
Yeah.
Took it and like. Literally within 15 seconds, I was looking at this scene of millions of polygons.
It was almost like Clarice in that sense, right?
Yeah, it was bananas. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And I was comfortable and knew all the modeling and stuff in Maya at the time. So I just blast out and do just polybomb everything. You know, whatever I needed, I just grab it. Wouldn't worry about topo, nothing. Because
you old nerd, you.
Yeah, right. And so just blasted through and then kick it over to Lightwave and render it in F Prime. And it was like, My reel out of school was like that.
Dude,
a lot of F Prime stuff on my first reel.
Maxwell render from Next Limit.
Yeah, Maxwell was cool.
Their shit was crazy because they're still they innovated some shit in there with they called themselves a light simulator, right? So I think it was I want to say an unbiased render. I always forget bias or bias, but yeah, anyway, either way. So what was interesting about it is you could light your scene like crazy, right? You could put all the light situations you want up in it, right? But then it would render everything out, and then you'd have the ability to. It's almost like light grouping in Arnold or light selects in V-Ray, right? Before there's light selects, and so you could go in and relight your entire scene based off just those lights. It would actually do a subtraction based off the other lights. So you would essentially say you have an indoor scene. and you have all these other lights you would do, it wouldn't just, it would just light it based off the lights you selected, which is pretty wild to think about, right?
Dude, lighting's so hard.
No, lighting's not hard.
It is, though. It's so easy to overthink.
Oh,
in my opinion.
That's correct.
In my opinion.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It's easy to overthink, and it's it's Othello, man. It's a minute to learn and a lifetime to master.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most of the time, what he's doing here, you get your HDRI and you just want to get that as your main lighting, but then you want to up it just a little bit. That's where the
when you
mastery
really want to make
or how to correct notes comes in, right?
Right,
Like,
when you really want to make things sing, and it depends on what you're lighting too, right? Like skin versus hard surfaces versus rubber,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like whatever kind of material, you really have to get in and understand. There was a guy who works for Chaos Group that always says that everything has Fresnel, and understanding like the basic principles of lighting.
is it Grant Warwick?
No, it's Chris Nichols.
Oh, God damn it. Grant Warwick's a jam, though. I love that guy.
Yeah. Everybody involved with Chaos Group is badass, right? Like
Vlado.
I don't know if Niederhorst is still in. I think he is. Yeah,
is.
They just made another little video. The whatchamacallit.
Oh, Niederhorst. He's a great guy,
tracing
dude.
for the wind or whatever. Yeah,
Not so sure about Chris, but
Throb's the jam. There's a lot of specific stuff when you get into the world of lighting.
Well, it's adaptable to every engine, right? So like every engine, if you're lighting in Arnold, it's a completely different way of thinking versus lighting in Redshift.
Yep.
Or lighting in Mantra.
Well, I guess that's part of what I'm thinking too. Is like even being in a studio environment, there's always 6 or 7 different renderers, or so it seems, over the course of time, right? Like one time you'll have this, and you'll have this, you'll have this, and they all seem to be so different in their theologies of how to light things sometimes.
Well, because the way the renderer works, right?
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, and lighting, you definitely have to not only understand physical lighting, but you have to understand also that technical side of it behind it, of how it works, because you can't just add physical lighting to everything, otherwise you're not going to be able to fucking render it.
Right.
Well, yeah, I agree with there, and I think also the big hurdle is knowing how to troubleshoot your lighting in that engine, right? So, for instance, with Arnold, a big thing with sampling, for instance, one of the big things that comes up is color clamping, right? So, a lot of times you get fireflies. What you'll need to do is, this is such a weird thing to say, like you got to color clamp this down to 5, and usually the default's 10. So 5 will stop your fireflies, but it will introduce other problems. So then you have to figure out how to counteract those other problems. And that's different from, say, Redshift. So how do you deal with sampling in Redshift?
Yeah.
But the foundation of lighting, how to light, is very simple. Like, right, the foundation of lighting, the 3-point lighting technique, or just having to, I think a lot of people overthink lighting because they're like, oh, I need to do this. But, like, just think about, what I always tell like young VFX artists is like, how would you, if you had this in real life, how would you light it? Like, how many lights would you put on it to show it? Do that in 3D, because it's probably gonna be a lot less than you think.
See, and if I'm honest, I've never been able to quite figure it out in the sense of I've never needed to, because once I started getting into VFX and doing compositing and whatever, like anything 3D, I just do a 3-point RGB, light, bring it into comp and play with it from there.
Dude, that's legit though. That right there is knowing what your skill set is and knowing how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and relighting stuff in comp and having that kind of control to understand what you're after in comp. I think everybody should spend some sort of time in a legitimate comp environment. Like, it should be a requirement for working in VFX.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, if you've never actually sat down and been like, what makes it so that when I composite my element onto live footage, what makes it work versus what breaks it?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I don't understand why it's not taught more, right? Like, I don't know how many times I've seen tutorials on how to do something where they teach you the proper way to do it, not necessarily the easy, quick, and dirty way that gets the same damn results.
Well, because the rabbit hole is so deep, man, and frankly, there's a lot of bad information out there. right? Like even within all the like the professional grade tutorials, there's a lot of information out there where I've been watching. I've watched stuff throughout the years and just been like, that's wrong.
Right. I mean, even that quick and way, the 3-point light, the quick and dirty to get it into comp. Like, if you're thinking about it like that, like you would never want to do a tutorial like, here's how you do something in 3D to hand over to comp, and you just do it. You just light it this way. That would never be the way that you would ever do that. But
right. Well,
you just learn that that's what works.
Yeah. Well, that's you said it right there, man. That's what works. Like, and that's the thing is that's the reality of VFX. In a nutshell, is that 90% of the time you're handed something where somebody's kind of like, you get the dreaded, I know what I want when I see it, or give me 5 wedges or this and that. But you get, you know what I mean? Like you have to deal with that stuff under a time deadline, and you don't always have time to do the physically or numerically accurate approach to everything. And you know what? That's not really necessary all the time either. I think most importantly, like Brandon pointed out earlier, it's about having the eye for it and knowing what you're looking for. There's you look at old one of my favorite things when I lived in LA that I ever did was go to LACMA and see the Mandt paintings that they had on display.
Dude, holy shit!
Oh, I bet that's amazing.
If you want a master class in like just who gives a shit about this part of the frame, there you go.
There you go, dude. The stroke efficiency of those
and
guys.
those guys are.
Some of those old Star Wars plates and stuff. Like, the detail, how it was just no detail. It's just like swats of like stormtroopers that you never knew was just like literally a thumbprint of white paint.
It's like looking at Albert Whitlock matte painting. Yeah, he did was the one he did for Sean Connery. I forget, but he did that. What was it, like 6 hours or something?
Yeah,
I forget which one it was. But dude, the fact that those guys could go in there and know exactly how to paint, what value it is, they're there, and they
getting the perspective correct,
right? Well, dude, I mean, the lighting,
vanishing point, all that stuff,
matching it up so that when you put the camera through it, there wasn't like a big crazy seam. Right?
Well, that's where I've always thought it's amazing how when they're painting, because you're painting on a surface here, but you have to think about it here.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so that's where it's, I think that's always really cool how you can separate.
When I worked with Zach on 2012, one of the big things he taught me was a lot of times we would work at a much larger res. So our in-res was HD. Funny enough, on 2012, and we would work at like I think it was like 4 or 6K sometimes.
6K,
and then he would be like, "Check this out." So we're just going to shrink this down now. And then we would shrink back to 10K, and all that detail we painted that we wasted our time on was gone. Like, we didn't need to do this. So like, it was crazy. Like, he would show me like, oh, this is how we needed. We just shrink her down, and we'd hand painted a lot of the backgrounds with just scribbles, little scribbles like for snow and shit. And when we scribbled, when we went back down and sampled back down, it was fine.
That's awesome.
And once you know where, that was a unique situation working on that job. They kind of dictated that.
Dude, it had
to be done that way.
That was so wild.
Usually you would do photo. Usually you would have access to photo libraries, and they just wouldn't allow.
And luckily, we were only doing do it. Mountain backgrounds.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one where you had like take pictures with your phone and shit?
No, we would have our iPhone up for reference.
Yeah, that's
like an old shitty iPhone on our desk, and we would hand paint and shit.
Yeah. It was that was pretty bonkers. But then it was.
Dude, I think I counted one time we did something like at our department at the time we did like something like 80 matte paintings or something like that. It was something crazy.
We had a lot of stuff. Well, and then we got stuff from other vendors that we had to pull in and kind of wrangle in and match our stuff to that, or like patch our stuff into it. And then we had like external people feeding us stuff that was like,
dude. And some of these people were
painted at
stars of matte paint, by the way, and
painted
it was
at 1K.
Like
just
go in and clean all that crap up.
Way too low res, and like
you could see the clone stamping.
Yeah. There was a lot of messy. Everybody look, man. That film. I don't fault anybody. That film was a colossal. It was such a gigantic undertaking, and it was one of those jobs where, like, by the time it was underway, everybody who could flick a mouse was employed working on it somewhere, and there was too much to do. right? And they were just, it wasn't like it was like when you run out of hard drive space on the disk and you just can't, it's not something where you can just run down to Micro Center and pick up a couple
Right.
of HD, SmartBook Pros or whatever and plug them into the render farm. Like all the talent was tapped, man. And everybody was just going balls to the wall on it.
Well, that's what I mean. It's been ebb and flows, man. It always has been in the industry where it's just like there's too much work for how many artists are out there, and then all of a sudden there's too many artists.
I think this time is different, though.
This changing.
This is a little different, man. I think what we're dealing with right now is a whole different beast.
Well, the power shifted, right? Like it's all. Netflix is now a player. Facebook is now a player. Apple is now a player. You have all these people involved now who were never involved before, and a lot of them are like they've dipped their toe in the water and realized this stuff doesn't make any money, and they're hiring production crews that are all union, and then the VFX that they have internal VFX departments, which is what since they're tech, all of them bought in on the VFX end of things, and they're realizing, oh my God, we're getting screwed on the end. That's everything is unionized except the end we bought, and we got handed a false bill of goods, and so everybody's kind of like pulling back now from the thing that they bought, the shiny new toy that they bought and brought home, and trying to figure out, crap, how can we turn a buck off of this? And that's why we're getting AI pushed on us. That's why generative AI is, because that's the only way that they're going to come out of this thing turning a profit, right? Like now that the honeymoons wore off, they're just like, well, this is great that we bought a sex robot, but I'm already kind of tired of screwing it. So
no weirdos.
Yeah. Now we got to buy it a new outfit and teach it some new phrases.
Yeah.
That's my shithead take, man. Whatever, I don't.
I mean, I do agree with all that. It's just I think it's like an ebb and flow of anything else, right? Like it's just a restructure. It's not a decimation. It's just a well, the industry. It's more of a shift.
We'll feel it though. Like,
I don't know, dude. Like
people.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody feels in any kind of shift. I mean, it always does.
People who are seasoned in the last couple of years, people with 15 and more years of experience, per se, have spent substantial amounts of time unemployed over the last couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who have been able to shift, have been able to make it work. But there's a lot of people who have gone for over 8 months without work, who
even more,
who aren't like new people,
and people that dedicate their professional lives to this. And that's the thing is, like, I could see if it was a little blip here and there, like for instance, network TV dying out. That's always been kind of a thing since streaming. But I mean, now it's like it's so different right now, man. Like, I mean, I had to switch careers essentially because of this, and dude, it's rough, dude. Like, there's so many people out of work. I mean, I took a massive pay cut going into games, and and I feel for those people who don't have jobs. I think I even have something right now, but at the same time, it's like it's tough. I've come to the realization I'm never going to make probably what I made in visual effects ever again. Like, it's never going to happen. Like, ever.
I don't know.
No, it won't. Like, I know for a fact it won't, unless I become.
Well, that's where we have to shift, though. That's what I mean. Like, at this point in our lives, for us we're all kind of. I mean, even though we've been supervisory roles and leadership, we're grunts. We like to get the work done, right? And so that's where a shift in our, as our teeth get longer, we're going to have to move to more of a supervisory role and be more of that guidance and vision for those new teams that are coming in with that new technology and the new thoughts and new visions of things, where we still have the eye, and that's what has to be handed down, because you never can take that away from us. But eye, right? It's almost like that. It's almost like what's his name up there at 98 years old singing. Maybe he really does need to do that in order to be 90 something years old, right? Like, even though he's up there just going through the motions, maybe that's what makes him feel alive, right? Like, so, I can't think of doing anything else that would give me as much joy as kind of still being in the world of what I do. But I do understand that there's, the 20-year-olds that are learning, like what you were saying earlier, Zach, with listening to how they're communicating and the things they're getting brought up with and the way that they can procure information and equipment and everything just completely different than we could back then, and learn new equipment and new technologies that we just don't even quite understand sometimes. Like where they don't have their expertise is going to be able to pull all that together and have the eye to be able to see it all through and been through those battles and trenches to know what it used to look like to do it the hard way. But now this is the easy way. So it should be, because to them, those young people, those new challenges are the hard challenges. But for us that have looked at things and seen it the new way, going like, well, that's like way easier than we used to do it. Right? Yeah. Like that encouragement and that guidance from our generation is what will cause that new generation of change. But there needs to be the
work, though, at the same time, right?
But how are we just going to get rid of entertainment?
But the thing is, it's not much work, though, right now. That's what I mean. Like
that's I guess what I mean is that's just today, and that's because of the way the industry got all crazy during 2020 with just producing as much content as they possibly could produce. And everybody investing over and heavily over in all the streaming wars. The streaming wars to me is what really killed everything.
Right.
And, coupled with, of course, the strikes and everything else that made people reevaluate, where they're going to put their money in different things and timing, AI. So it was just kind of like one of those little perfect storms of, it was time for a shift.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm planning on shifting with it if I can.
Dude, I've been listen, I've been trying to shift with it, and I'm not a dinosaur. Like I keep on track of stuff. I'm pretty well known as far as our little inner circle of people. I know people, and I talk to people in the industry, and what I've been hearing is that like things aren't going to change, or nothing's really coming out. And granted, you work for a company, Brian, so it's a little bit harder to say this to you because you're keeping very well employed. But for the rest of us who aren't, most of us aren't keeping employed, is that most of the stuff is not going to come back until mid to late 2025. This is from major studios,
and I agree with that. But that it's still coming back.
But I don't know. I don't think it's going to come back. And this is what I'm hearing too. It's not going to be coming back the way you think it's going to come back. It's not like the Marvel golden era. Because if you think about back then, you had network TV, you had streaming, and you had Marvel. That's a fucking crazy combo of stuff. We don't even have network TV. Marvel's gone. Disney's gone. What?
Sure, but the new generation of how, like, my 8-year-old ingests entertainment completely different than we do.
Right.
And the way that they don't ingest entertainment on an hour-long or 2-hour-long schedule, 30-minute schedule. They ingest entertainment on a 2-3 minute schedule, right? And they also ingest entertainment from somebody who is like, it is crazy how much content those people put out, right? And it's constant, and there's just, I think that will shift. Sure. I think that all that kind of stuff will shift as that generation gets older. It'll shift to more longer form entertainment, but still kind of stay in that same style. And those same people, like Mr. Beast, one of the biggest content creators, and the king of the young kids right now, uses tons of visual effects. He uses tons of visual effects in his shows.
Yeah, he was posting stuff. I saw a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn or whatever they were hiring.
I think Andy, you're probably watching.
Yeah,
Andy, I think Andy's working for him.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I know that guy is kind of under some heat right now. Hopefully, he comes out underneath it. With whatever.
He's rich enough; he can.
Yeah, right. But no, you make a great point there, man. But I feel like, again, I think the heyday of I'll say this. I feel like the pay structure, everyone needs to get ready to kind of sink down to about a 25 to 35%, probably, or even 50% pay cut to what they're used to, depending on the project, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
I agree with that.
I think there has to be reality check in that sense. Because I think you're right. Short form content is king, right? Like no one is looking at everyone's even learning new songs off TikTok now, right?
That's how a lot of that generation gets their news.
Genevieve made a post about LinkedIn. It was like, hey, most people are. It's the data shows that like all this stuff is we're all learning new songs off TikTok rather than anything else, which is completely true. And all our new media is coming from all the short form content. So
Yeah, I mean, like this generation has a completely new form of idol that we didn't have, which were content creators. Like that was not a thing that we had.
Right.
Yeah. If you think about a content creator, is that a musician a content creator? Sure, right? Like, but at the end of the day, that's not really, it wasn't the same thing. It was, or content creator. Mr. Rogers was a content creator if we don't think about it that way. But like,
Sure,
it's not the same though.
But it's a mass content.
It's a mass content. It's these people like Ryan's World, where this. If you watch, do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, there's a lot of drama behind that, right? I know.
Apparently, they're starting to be. But if you look at like all their old, it was just their mom, and she and the mom and dad were cranking videos out like 3 videos a week, and I'm actually amazed at, and I understand there was probably a team behind all of that, right? Like. But it was still the production of being able to do that on that pace and that clip of getting that many out was, I think, is pretty amazing,
right?
Yeah,
I don't see it. Here I go, curmudgeon. And I'm not saying like, hey, let's stop it. I'm just kind of simply pointing it out. Is I don't know if you guys remember, like in the '90s was when the kind of the 24-hour news cycle started.
Yeah, what CNN was to be.
Right,
Yeah,
like
during
it started.
the Gulf War.
It started. Yeah, it started to be all of a sudden 24 hours round the clock news, and it switched from information to ratings, right? And
Dude, headline news.
and it started getting gnarly around like
Robin Meade. I love Robin Meade.
Dude. I had a crush on Robin Meade
I
forever,
did
dude.
too. Me too.
Dude, Robin Meade was a jam.
Beautiful.
When I was deployed, it was always Robin Meade.
Yeah.
She's on. Shoot. Fucking love her, man. She loves me. We're getting married.
In
Morning sunshine.
In retrospect, I look back at the years that have passed since then, and kind of see how things have changed with society in that regard. And in all honesty, if you sit there and you kind of are like try to weigh it out, like, hey, what good did the 24-hour news cycle bring? I feel like it tribalized everybody more than it did good things. Right?
Well, we can look back on it now and tell it
Too
definitely
much
did help.
information.
Yeah.
We're not designed to take that sort of information in.
Yeah, not on a constant bombardment of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and I feel like the internet took that like by the nipples and was just like,
It's just like, you know what? You try to get milk out of these?
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. These are male titties.
yeah, we're
You suck on them long enough, they will actually milk.
society. You're right. In society, the internet has society with some a car battery hooked up to its nipples, and it's just like,
Fuck it, come on. Oh, fucking.
how long till
What's
you
that
get
movie with Jason Statham?
Crank?
Craig.
Right. How long till your butthole pops out inside out? It's fine. And I think this is, as we see it, everybody wants to present it as progress, see it as progress, this and that. I'm genuinely a little concerned about where it's going.
Oh, it concerns the shit out of me. That's beside the point.
People will be fine. We'll course correct. But
Yeah.
like, how far does it got to go before people are like, okay, we're doing some genuine damage. Like, it's time to stop drinking Red Bull. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if there's ever a
will
stop
we
to that.
find the wall?
I don't think we will. I don't think
Bananas.
people. I think people are. We love bad news. We crave
love it.
We love the tragedy of things.
I mean,
There's not enough good news because people find it boring. Like
right. If it bleeds, it breeds, or whatever.
If
Whoa.
It bleeds,
That's not the saying that was
Jesus
needed to be
Christ.
said here.
No, that's not the right one.
It's not.
No?
Wow.
Hey,
If it
Grass on the field, play ball.
Yeah.
if it bleeds, it leads. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Coming from a guy who
That's some like Braveheart shit over here.
I learned.
fucking braid you out.
Consider the source. I learned only a couple of years ago that pickles came from cucumbers.
Really, that was
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
a seismic moment in your life, huh?
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
like, wait a minute.
It doesn't make
Wait.
any sense until
Did we when we all found out that tidbit? I remember finding that out, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. it's not something you really. Yeah.
Because I'll eat a pickle, but I hate cucumbers.
Yeah.
I don't like either one of them.
I don't
Well,
like either, really.
here's
but
what- here's
one
when
that-
I
here's-
I'll eat pickle.
but
I like
how you
pickled
grow-
things, like pickled
Yeah.
okra, pickled green beans. Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, you're so southern.
But cucumbers, there are a special breed of cucumber, a special strain
They're
of
a
cucumber
melon,
that
right?
is for pickling.
They're
They only
Ah.
grow to be a certain size, and they don't have like spiky bits on them. And
So
all that
let me
kind
ask you guys this: when you eat a cucumber, let's say a watermelon, a cantaloupe, anything that has a melony, but there's a certain melon flavor to it, right?
Well, I guess, yeah.
I hate that.
I don't like it either. I don't like cucumbers. I don't like
hate
it. Yeah.
with a fucking passion. My wife thinks I'm nuts, but
What's the line of demarcation to where a pickle becomes a gherkin?
That's a gherkin, like where you cover your crotch.
That's
No,
a
that's-
merkin.
That's all American. Gotcha.
Merkin is basically like dick toupee.
It
It's
is.
like a lengthening of the dick.
Or, no, it's a dick toupee.
No. It's just a toupee. It's for your fuda.
Well,
you
it
know
was
what? I
something-
got enough down there. Let's put some
It
up
was-
here. I'm thinning.
What was the whole thing with a merkin anyhow? It was like because of pubic lice or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Let's
because
not-
people had to shave
God damn.
because of pubic lice. They would have to shave themselves, and they didn't. Society didn't like a shaved pubis at the time, so they had merkins so that you wouldn't feel insignificant in the bedroom.
Boy, I hate that when all the times that the time. I don't. Okay.
And you know, like the shitty technology. Could you imagine, like in the 1800s, the guy that's selling like little pieces of carpet as merkins? You know, like it's not like a quality,
Right.
like a quality piece of
My name is-
prosthetic.
My name is Frank. My name
It's
is
just
Frank
it's just some single black carpet and some duct tape.
Bonklin, working salesman at your service. Do you suffer from inadequacy? Have you been
Yeah,
kicked out of bed in the last
Merkin
5
peddler.
If so, I have the solution for what ails you.
A merchant. Is to be a merchant.
You know, sorry, this is a side note. And that picture there,
Yeah.
if you expose to your highlight there,
Mm-hmm.
it,
Brandon's drunk and
if
forgot he
you
was on a
grade-
podcast.
Sorry, if you grade to your highlight, that might actually be better. Because like if you're thinking about like you're saying the Starry Night, yeah, you would never see that shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
it would almost be impossible.
Right.
But I wonder if I don't know. It's pretty. Anyways, sorry.
No.
No, I was just saying it's pretty balanced, but yeah, I was seeing.
You got all up in the camera there for a second, Brandon. You look a lot like Lemmy.
dude.
You
But
got
dude,
some
my
pork
mustache?
chop. You got some pork chops starting to like kick out
Dude.
there a little bit. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. But yeah, dude, I don't know. That's a
What you working on there, Zachary? Or was it? I don't know
Can't
officially.
talk
Is it
about it.
Zachary or Zachariah? What's your
Zach-
God given?
My Christian name is Zachary.
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 with an H, not a K.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's
You don't ever say the H.
not a single,
Okay,
not a
no.
single,
Don't ever say the K.
not a single Jew in my family, and yet I'm named after a Jewish priest.
I was named after a pirate in a book called The Flame and the Flower.
I was named after my uncle.
Brian.
That was her last name. They were Nanny and Uncle Brian.
That's cool. Well, that's awesome. So your dad really loved his brother then.
It was my grandmother's. It was one of those, in the South, they don't necessarily have to be blood related to be your uncle and aunt.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess they were lifelong family friends or something like that. I think
Oh, that's
apparently
cool.
I think the story goes that my grandfather after World War II, he was a B-17 gunner.
Dude, for
And
real?
yeah,
No way.
and he you know how they had that whole thing with Memphis Belle about like when she flew 25 missions, you got to go home. So he flew 25 missions and re-signed back up. He flew 47 missions in total, and he said he signed back up because, starting out the war, you had to be an officer to drop the bombs, to be the bombardier. But towards the end of the war, they lost so many planes they didn't give a shit. So he signed back up because he wanted to drop the bombs. He wanted to be the bombardier. So it's crazy to think how like much of an adrenaline junkie he had to have been. But apparently he came back and had some really traumatic PTSD and had to go he stayed with them for quite a while because he couldn't be around, like the rest of the family or something for a minute.
Yikes.
What a
Yeah,
fuck-
he got
what a-
shot down a couple times, crash landed a couple times.
Dude, how really on that note,
What a fucking hero. Dude.
I have a great uncle who
What a fucking hero.
And my
Who,
other grandfather stormed the beaches of Iwo Jima and all that kind of stuff. He fought in the Pacific, did Iwo Jima and Korea and all that kind of shit.
yeah. I have a great uncle that
What are you doing,
crashed two planes.
I moved
Two planes
I moved pixels around.
Right. In
He
Korea.
made it possible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But dude, war
That's
back
awesome, dude.
that's pretty incredible. War
Yeah.
back so much different than war now.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like everybody our age has a story of some relative who's like,
Yeah.
they crashed, like you said, they crashed a plane a couple times in a war, and walked away and lived and whatever, that kind of stuff, or stormed the beach or somewhere, or like saw combat, and would just have like these crazy stories.
Yeah.
And people our age, like if they served somewhere, they were kind of just like, I was just away from the combat. And the people who were in the combat consistently have the same kind of thing. Like, we were just on the ground kind of waiting, and airstrikes took care of most of it. And
Yeah, I mean, when I was deployed, it was like I was on a boat fucking far away. And I was just signing bombs and fixing shit. Like, that's just crazy. Like, I can't, dude, like, I don't know, dude. It's
Like, have you seen Masters of the Air?
mm-mm.
Oh, you guys have to
All right,
watch
I'll
that.
it. All right.
It's
World War II?
fucking fantastic. Tom Hanks and Spielberg or
They're just
whatever, but
kids. they're literal kids.
that is, and it's all true stories. Or whatever, the Masters of the Air thing about the some of the first bombardier groups that went over there, and it was so insane, like so insane. I can't even imagine how he told stories like his buddy that was next to him, their side gunner exploded because he got hit with a machine gun or whatever from another plane. Like, it just exploded. Had another buddy caught on fire because their inside of their jackets had wires that ran on them because they were in like negative degree temperatures up there in those tin cans up there, and so they actually had to plug their jackets into the plane. And if you got shot or something, it would ignite it, and you would catch on fire.
Dude, that is some Warhammer 40K shit right there.
Yeah.
That is some wild shit, dude. I didn't even know that. That's wild.
That's gnarly.
My dad, my biological father, was in Vietnam. He only talked about it to me a couple times, but the shit he told me, I was just like, I see why he was so fucked up in the head, because, dude, how could you not be fucking insane?
Well, I think Vietnam was way more brutal, right? Because if you think about it, even for my grandfather, how crazy it was inside that plane. He wasn't shooting a person in the face. Like, Vietnam was a lot of hand-to-hand, like face-to-face combat.
Very, very. What's the word? There's a word for it.
Personable,
like face-to-face sort of things. That were like World War I, right? World War I was such a very trenchy warfare. People were, goddamn, I couldn't.
Oh, what was that World War I movie where the dude just ran for fucking hour and a half?
1917.
Oh, that was so good.
Dude, that whole the guy,
so good.
running into people when they're getting bombed, he jumps out the trench, comes through. All that shit was all like him hitting people and extras. That was all real. They couldn't cut, right? So he got up and kept running. Like,
that's crazy. I didn't know that. That was such a good movie. I love movies like that. It was so well thought out, and not only such a good story, but a really different take on presenting it.
Yeah. I mean, people. I mean, like, I freak out when my bank account gets low a little bit. Like to be able to pay bills. You know what I mean? Like, I have an existential crisis, but then I think I literally have to think back to myself, like, okay, to me, what stress is, like, for me personally, I think back those times, when I was deployed and stuff, and I had once the captain of the ship in my shop watching, literally like this. I was the captain, and this is me watching me work on something. Is it fixed yet? That was stress to me, right? But like, stress is relative to everyone else, right? And I can't imagine that's nothing. That's nothing compared to like the people that went to war in Vietnam or Vietnam or World War II, Korea, and all that shit.
Just spending your entire day waiting for the fire to start happening.
Well, that's what's so crazy. Even if you watch that Masters of the Air of like all those boys that got in those B-17s, every single time they got in it, they thought they weren't coming back.
Dude, yeah. So, we got out here in Colorado, we got a bunch of
take that, women. Do that, women. You want equal pay? You want equal pay?
Jesus Christ.
No, seriously. So seriously, like, you want equal pay? Then go do some crazy shit. Like, go ahead.
Go take a risk. Risk your life. Risk your life for whatever.
It may not be for the proper thing right now. I wouldn't risk my life for this country right now, but but yeah, sorry.
It depends.
I want to get canceled so many times.
I was just
many times.
We got to get a buffer. Next podcast, we have to have a buffer back in between you guys.
We got a
500-mile buffer.
Out here in Colorado, we got all these Wings Over the Rockies airplane museums, and they have all the old warbirds in a lot of those places. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I go through those places, bring my son, he loves to see all the old aircraft. And I get emotional reading like the placards about like, what missions these planes were on, what they did, and I think about the guys stepping on there, and like you're saying, this may be my last flight ever. Like I'm flying into a hostile war zone to go do whatever mission it is, and these people are going to be shooting at us with probably superior firepower, better positions. Like they've got the deck on us. For all intents and purposes, we're fucked, but we're going in anyhow.
But at the same time, I feel like back then too, like America was different.
Yes, very much.
Like I feel like the country, like we had an enemy, right? Like there was a good and a bad. Like right now, we don't have a good and a bad, but like, dude, like to have that, like,
well, the world had an enemy.
Well,
yes. Yeah, could put it better.
Yep. And that helped unify in the terms of the World War. It helped unify, like, the U.S. had a civil war, which there was two sides of, right? Where I think we can all agree which side was probably the right side during the Civil War, pretty easily, right?
And not roll tide on that.
But the people,
I kept my roll tide to myself, gentlemen. I know how to roll tide. I don't know. Y'all are just learning.
Brilliant work. Brilliant work. Right? But so you have there were still people who kind of had like that. People in Alabama saw things differently than people in New York.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But like in that moment, those people could be like, yeah, we all disagree about that. But this thing, okay, let's fight together to stop
this guy's an asshole. We can all agree to that, can't we?
Yeah, then we can go back to listening to all our Anthony songs or whatever, But
we're gonna go back to smuggling liquor.
We've gone from that after we neutralized those threats. We've gone back to infighting within ourselves now, and I think that's a pretty nasty. I think that's a pretty nasty thing, man. Like that needs to get solved.
We are. I don't. And this is all going at the 40K nerds out there, but like, so in the 40K universe, there's there's a race called the orcs, right? And the orcs are incredibly powerful, and they can't be stopped usually. The only real weakness they have is themselves, right? So once they stop figuring out who to fight, they have to fight amongst each other because they can't stop fighting.
Right.
So they kill each other. Right. And that reminds us a lot. That reminds me a lot of what a
MAGA
or
typical orcs.
Yeah, I wouldn't say MAGA. I'd say more liberal stuff because we're in more wars during liberal times than we are conservative sometimes.
Sure.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. America loves war. We love war, right? And so if we can't find someone to fight, we're going to fight amongst ourselves.
What is it? Was it also Chappelle that says we love to bomb around people?
Yeah, we do. We totally do.
America, what is it? Baseball, mom's apple pie, and
goddamn nuclear war.
this end towards target.
Well, gentlemen, I think we're
doing a long one tonight, boys.
Yeah, we're doing it around in the end of the show here.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry we didn't end on visual effects. We ended on World War II history, guys.
Well, I mean, that's look, deep fried pixels. We're deep, we're fried. Sometimes we talk about pixels, but very rarely.
Dude, holy shit, that's our tagline.
We're deep. We're fried.
Right. We sometimes talk about it.
Talk
Dude,
about pixels.
that's brilliant. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Write it down. Pop it.
You've
live.
heard it. You heard it here first, Pixel fans.
Yeah, listeners, you've been sir.
Listener, listen.
Thanks, Mom.
Hey, who's the guy?
Tanner.
Tanner?
Yeah, Tanner. We're talking to you, Tanner.
Hey, we got a Patreon coming up, Tanner. If you want to support us, $1 a month. $1 a month will support all of us.
For just $1 a month.
$1
you
a month.
Feed,
you can
you
support.
can feed a visual effects artist.
You can feed me thinking about a meal. Tanner,
for just measly $1 a month.
Dude.
We should start doing commercials like that.
Tanner.
Some Melissa McLaughlin in the background with us just sad in the corner of our offices.
Just doing this. And Zach just.
Just like and subscribe.
hit that notification bell thing.
I know times are tough. If you can't afford to do it, don't do it.
If you can't afford to give, don't.
I'm waiting for Brian to say, "Hold on, we didn't record."
Oh man, I haven't been recording. Oh no, we got it this time.
I would kill you.
All right, guys. Till next time.
Until next time.